time is flying by on our first day back for Blast Europe League in 2024 because it's already time for our final match of the day, and that is between BDS and Wild. Now, both these teams, of course, having made some changes to their roster over the transfer period, over the window ever since the SI and everything that came before that. But when we talk about BDS, the word super team has been coming around here and there. Is it fair?
Oh, I mean, BDS as an organization, as a team, have been watching G2 have super team after super team after super team. They watched their matey try and fail with a couple of super teams, and they thought, hold the phone, let's create the best super team that there ever was. I think this team, in terms of raw mechanical talent, game sense, and just being a top player, like if you did a top 10 player list of last year, all 5 are on this, right? And they've got them all in one team. I think mechanically, this is potentially one of the best teams that has ever been concepted.
Maybe I would point it to say that this is the best mechanical team that's ever been assembled. Because we were praising the former team of Users and Solotov, M&M, so much because of how good they were mechanically, but they were committing mistakes. We said for Tyrant that going out of that team into Fnatic would be great for him is development. I think we're going to see exactly the same thing for Users and Solotov going to BDS. Now there's a team that, well, we're not as good friends anymore, and maybe we'll have more expectations on us from the rest of the players in the group. And they have, in my eyes, like if I guess probably the up-and-coming, well, up-and-coming is one of major, the in-game leader that's like the youngest with the most experience and has so much more future to build. And now he gets that firepower on top of already having Shaiko? Hello? Mind.
And the lack of success that BDS had over the last year, they had to do something drastic. Yeah. And to take a full French-speaking team to now an English-speaking team. Likafak is now having to IGL in English. Bride, Shaiko, English. Like, have you ever interviewed Shaiko? He barely speaks it, but he's committing to learning it and speaking it and being in a team with players for English. That's how serious these guys are. This isn't just, let's pick the best 5 players available and clump them together. This has been identified as an opportunity, and they've gone, we really want this.
100%. Of course, Fabian and I have now moved over to the screen here because I believe we should have a duo interview ready, and I'd be so excited for that. Of course, we do. We are joined by Bride and Solotov, and I believe this is from you guys' bootcamp location as well. That would actually be my first question too, because you played Malta, you now play EU, all between the span of 1 week on a bootcamp as well. How have things been?
It's been great since we won the Malta Cyber Series. So now we're just prepping for EUL from the bootcamp, which is great.
All right, so my first question comes to you guys, and it's about the firepower in this team. Because obviously, I think that you guys both understand, you guys have unquestionably the highest amount of firepower I think we've ever seen in Europe. How do you guys back that up with all the theory that you have? Like, how do you invest your utility? Do you guys have a special person like Shaiko used to be, or do you just guys spread it all over the place?
We just basically play our own game. Like, there's no any special player doing like his own thing. We just do what we're supposed to do on the attack. Just EFAC IGL, he's a great IGL. Whatever he says, we just do it.
So
that's how we play.
No questioning, you're playing your own game, and then you rely on the mechanical and, well, theoretical ability you guys have as a group.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, now we mentioned that you played on the Malta Cyber Series against G2. Your next game will also be against G2. Does that make things awkward, or does it even get you in a better perspective, like, hey, we already won against them?
To be honest, no. We will play like we are playing another team, because even if we are already beaten G2, sorry, it's not like we are coming very confident because it's G2, you know. So we will prepare the match properly, and we will do our best.
All right, and one question more for you, Bride. How is it speaking English again in a team, and how is it for the other guys that haven't done that before?
So to be honest, it's a bit difficult, because even if I used to play, I used to play with non-English people, sorry. It's a bit difficult because I'm not fluent, like you can see, and of course some words are not coming like in French, you know.
Yeah.
So I have to work on it, obviously, and then it will be okay, I think.
It's normal when you're speaking a second language, of course, but I feel like for so far, you guys are doing a great job with that, of course. It's a big change for you, but I'm excited to see what it'll bring for you for the future. Thank you so much for joining us for this evening. Good luck on bootcamp and for the rest of your games as well.
Thank you. Bye.
Right.
I love doing interviews. It's always nice to hear from two players at the same time, but
Respond.
well, they have a difficult game today nonetheless against BDS, and we'll bring them up as well on your screens. And this graphic might look a little bit different than what you're used to seeing from us. And the reason is that this team is so good. So many of these players are on the top of the leaderboard. A gold score means they're currently leading that specific, well, cost or KD or anything. A silver score means they're currently second best of all of the league, and a bronze score means they're currently third.
Yeah, it is disgustingly good how good this BDS roster is, and I think this is why we wanted to show you this. We'll leave it up just on the screen for another few seconds, just so you can really digest it. Every metric that is tracked more or less across the board, BDS have a player in the top 5. Most metrics, they have a player in the top 3. And, you know, half of the metrics, they have a player that is leading it, and it is different players on the roster. This isn't just a one-man army. This is a team that is leading and destroying absolutely everything they come against.
Yeah, and you might look at Solotov here, or like he's not having the greatest stage, but don't be wrong. Like, don't put yourself in the spine spot that he can't do it.
Yeah.
Because we have seen him play on M&M and all the time there, and in my mind, he was the best player together with users on M&M.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't take away from Tyrant either. He was also a great player. All of them were good players, but the numbers that Solotov put out, he was insane. And it's just a question about time before he'll do it here too.
Yeah.
It's just maybe when you have that many good players around you, you don't get that much space to do all of these great plays, because there's always one more guy that can do it.
And the funny fact is, they won't care about any of those individual statistics. The one that matters is the fact they've taken 6 points from 6 and that they're top of the league, ready to go to Manchester.
And they're looking great while taking those 6 points. Like, if you ask me right now, I think that they might be the team that is closest to challenge Furia on the World Championship title for that.
That's some really tough words coming out for that. Very promising.
2 games in, 2 games in, and I'm saying that. And it's just how complete they look.
Let's hope you won't be jinxing it for them. For ITB.
In pocket, and he only has just placed it, so there's a chance that one will remain for a bit more yet. Oh, Shaiko. Oh my goodness, what have we just seen? Stop stream! Stop stream! No, what have we just seen?
It is time for our French derby, or maybe not so much of a French derby anymore, because BDS have been changing some players out left, right, and center. But starting to talk about BDS, of course, today, a roster that is really impressed us as well. We'll pull up the players on your screen if you weren't already familiar with them to start out with. These players have been absolutely doing a phenomenal job. And if we're looking at the ratings here as well, something that's really funny that stood out to me, Shaiko is actually the lowest rated player on this team.
Wow. Can you guys imagine that? Like, Shaiko, the lowest rated player? That makes absolutely no sense, but at the same time, it makes so much sense. And it's not because Shaiko is any worse than he was. Shaiko's been one of the best players in the world for a very long time. But now he's surrounded by, well, 4 other players that are also some of the best players in the world. I mean, if I could pick a top 10 of all players right now, probably all 5 of them would fit in there.
This is such a complete team. And the other 5 players playing for Furia by any chance?
Yeah, that's probably it.
They are such a complete team, and I think they know that. And I think what it is in Siege at the minute, there's a lot of players and teams that want to be as flexible as possible. These guys aren't necessarily that, right? If you look at Brede, he's never going to go and frag out all of the time. If you look at Shaiko, he's never going to be a support player. They've got the right people in the right roles in the team that makes sense compositionally as well, and they're just running through it.
But they do have that flexibility in
They do have flexibility as well.
Yeah.
But in their own roles, they're specialists and they excel.
Yeah, they're like the #1 in Europe on all their own individual roles, but then they have the flexibility to play.
They would be top 5 in Europe on any other role as well, which helps.
Something that we have been doing a lot over the last few weeks is making up new words. And with how BDS have been performing, we felt like it was needed to add a new word to our dictionary of the Europe League. And that word is getting BDS. Now, Fresh, you'd please like to explain what that means.
Yeah, this is Fabian's word, but I'm just going to say it. So it's to destroy an obstacle in your path with the utmost ease, irrespective of the surroundings or approach that the opponent might take. Basically, whenever BDS win, we say the team or the opponent that they're against just got completely BDS, Fabian.
Yeah, you don't want to be taking a BDSing, that's for sure, because you just don't stand a chance against them. And I love watching teams like this because not only are they so mechanically sound and like they actually have the basics down on top of that, but they also have the theoretical depth. They are super smart. They have players who are all working to it. Like, we've spoken to Likeyfac, and in the interviews, he's told us how much users and Solotov have brought with them from the old M&M team and the way that they played some of the maps. Like, look at Chalet, how BDS played that map. it's all from M&M.
Chalet and Border as well. They've played Chalet and Border.
Yeah, all maps that they liked in M&M, and now all of a sudden it's BDS map pool, and I'm seeing like 9 map pool from a team with best gunners and incredible minds. There's just no end to it.
It's nice to see that influence, but of course we have to talk about their opponents as well, because from BDS just absolutely BDS all over Wolves. We talk about our new word that we have invented on this desk, but it is what we're seeing continuously from BDS.
First of all, like you get BDS, not BDS all over. Can you explain to me what getting BDS all over actually means?
I mean, they just like continuously storm. If we bring back up the graphic or the explanation of what BDSing means, is to destroy an obstacle in your path with the utmost ease. I mean, that's exactly what BDS are doing. All over Wolves is what we're seeing here in every different front.
Yeah, they BDS all over them. That's the way.
All over them, all over Skyscraper,
Yeah.
wherever you want to go, BDS will take you there, and they'll BDS you there as well.
It's like I'm trying to figure out the weaknesses of this team. And I said that the last time as well, but I don't see them yet. I don't know what it is that you need to do. How do you beat them?
Yeah, we're speechless, basically.
Honestly.
I think the only thing is, and maybe force them to execute. We saw a couple of attacks. Oh my god, we're actually criticizing a team that's just got free attacks on Skyscraper. If we're trying to find a weakness, was that they only went free attacks on Skyscraper.
They should have won
They maybe
more.
messed up a couple of late exits.
Yeah.
Whatever. This is the best
two,
team
they
in
should have
Europe.
won
This is probably
well.
the best
Should have
team in
been
the
a
world.
4-2.
They'll win a major. Maybe
They'll win
an
SI.
What's the point? No. Honestly, this team is so good. They're disgustingly good. I don't know what else we can say.
It's come to the point where, okay, we're 4 play days in, and we can only sit here and just say, yeah, they're the best team. If they attended that side, they probably would have won it. Who knows?
This is one of the things where it's like, we expected this team to be good. Everybody expected this team to be good. Did we expect them to be this good? No. What we expected was that individual skill would have to carry them, at least in this stage. Because we thought map pool might be a little bit of an issue. We thought IGLing and communication might be a little bit of an issue. We thought synergy might be a little bit of an issue. They've come out and proved over these 4 games. They don't have any of those issues whatsoever.
Nope.
And on top of that, they're individually 5 of the best players in the world.
That's it. That's the sum up.
I'm very curious what's going to start happening as soon as we see some issues arise to the surface, or if things go worse. But at this point, I'm also questioning, will we even get to that point? I mean, right here now as well, starting attack on Skyscraper, I mean, there's more favorable things to do for sure, but they handle it perfectly, banning out a Ying and then still finding ways to execute around it.
Yeah, so before in the pre-show, we talked about Ying being very strong to enter with. BDS has to ban it, and then they start attack on one of the hardest to attack maps in the game. And as we said, they should have won even more attacks than they did. They just had an answer for everything. Like, we saw the round where they go blitz on Black Stars, and they have to cover him. And we saw all these other things. We saw Sense on the office attack. We're seeing things we don't normally see. And I'm just lost for words. Like, I feel like I know this game well, but they just have answers to everything. They have the depth, they have the maps, they have the gun skill. I don't know.
They have a nice skin as well.
They have a nice
that skin is nice.
Yeah.
Their new skin. Go check it out.
I just don't have words for them. They're just that good. They're that good.
Wow, I don't think I'd ever imagined a day where 2 analysts would be stood on the desk, absolutely speechless, not knowing what to say, because the team has just been performing so incredibly well. Like, there isn't almost a mistake to point out. French Derby last week, guess what? We have another one coming up right now. A French Derby part 2, or Big Brother versus Small Brother, I guess you could say. But here, the Big Brother is just constantly stealing everyone's toys. It's constantly their time on the iPad, and they're getting away with it. We're talking about BDS.
Yeah, BDS have just been dominating so far this season, and I don't know if there's anything that can really stop them. One thing I have to mention, though, is Jack isn't here with me. And you know how nice that feels? Finally, he's been relegated from EUL once, and he's been relegated from the desk once now as well. But back to BDS. Yeah, I just had to. Back to BDS. Yeah, they just shine with this individual skill level. On combination with that, it's just incredible of a team. What they've been able to build in such a short time, mind-blowing to me.
Now, if you're wondering where Fresh is, or wondering why BDS is such a good team, well, Fresh is on the tell us later to explain that to you.
I'm not missing. I am still here. And the one thing that I will say is some things keep people up at night. Sometimes it's trading, sometimes it's ranky. What keeps me up at night is why BDS are such a goddamn good team on the attacks. So I prepared 2 reasons for you. The first one on the graphic is going to be that BDS have a high level of coordination between players. And this is what's impressive for such a new team. So if we roll the very first clip, you're going to see round 1, play day 1, when they played up against Wild on Cafe. Grim and Ying on the east side of the building, causing a huge distraction. Well, why are they doing that? Because simultaneously, Leakifak has repelled into Piano, use that distraction to go and take quite an advanced position inside of the bathroom within a minute 30 against Wild. Really easy, quick synergy together, and what it does is it opens up the site as Leakifak will find the opening kill of the game, and in such an advanced position so early on, it's absolutely criminal how BDS are able to get away with it. They make these little plays together and they get away with it so often. But what's the second reason, you might ask? Well, the second reason is when it doesn't go well strategically, they've got individuals with exceptional mechanical skill. Fabian will talk about them as the best team. You know, everybody in the right role is the best player in that role. I'm going to roll one clip. It was the highlight of the week for one reason. Shaiko, this round for BDS wasn't won strategically. It was won because Shaiko managed to walk in, find a gap, kill 3 people, and then even in sight find a 4th one. And that's what BDS have. On the one hand, they are so good strategically, but also on the other hand, when it's not going right strategically, they've got so many good players. It's not just Shaiko, it's Leakifak, it's Users, it's Brede, it's Solotov, it's all of them exceptionally mechanically skilled.
We could watch that clip over and over again, but then when
All, like the entire stage, they're gonna take one of the top 2 seeds. Let's not kid ourselves. It was a rough day yesterday. Today they played a very good opponent and they won it still. They're gonna take one of the 2 top spots.
now one player that you would like to talk about a little bit more is Users, I believe.
Yeah, it's not Shaiko, it's not Leakifak, it's going to be Users. Now, the reason that Users impressed me, and you know, he's impressed me this season, not just this game. Obviously, he top fragged. That's not actually, I called this highlight before he was even top fragging. He is such a flexible player for this team. He will play any operator. In fact, in the league, quick stat for the viewers at home, Users has played the most amount of unique operators, more than anybody else inside the entire league. He also, before this game started, was joint top for the most amount of utility kills, i.e. kills achieved not with a gun. Such a flexible player, and I think even when, you know, he doesn't necessarily need to be the guy that goes and gets the kills to this BDS roster, but he has that potential as well. I think he's all round probably the best, I would say, Link flex player in the world right now.
It's so exciting to see him play so many different operators and excel so much with that as well.
Tick. Increase map pool. Tick. Become the best team in the world. Tick. Sign all the best players. Tick. Like every single checklist you would want for a team. It feels like they've got absolutely everything and they're all over it. They've literally completed it.
And they were prepared for it because when we were hearing, this change has been in the making for a couple of months prior to the start of EUL. So BDS were thinking ahead. And if you'd have told me 2 years ago that Shaiko would be playing in English, I'd not believed you. You're lying to me and you're trying to bamboozle me.
I don't know how much he individually is playing in English.
Yeah.
He probably speaks a
I
lot
kill.
I
Dead.
kill. But the thing is, it's
Operator.
looking at the change of how he as an individual has done as well.
Yeah.
We're seeing him play flex operators
Yeah.
and support operators. At what point in the history of the world would you see Shaiko play Flores? I'd never imagine it.
Depth of map pool, depth of operator pool is something we've seen from BDS, from every single player. That is, especially Users who we talked about extensively through.
Performance.
Very impressive.
Not that we ever expected anything else really because of the head-to-head between the 2 teams, but they've basically dominated the whole league.
The head-to-head wouldn't even have mattered. If you just look at the team that they've been this stage, it was pretty much over as soon as the first half was over. If you get 3-3 on Skyscraper, game's over. Literally, game's over.
Literally.
Yeah, but what can you possibly do? I'm still questioning, how do you win against BDS?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, right? You know, you look at some of these highlights and you look at the way BDS are playing, and you know, sure, a few rounds they pulled out the opportunities, particularly the office round that came down to what 1 versus 1. But you know, they attack. It makes sense. I can't explain this so much, but they do the defaults, but they have the correct people in the correct places for the cutoffs to punish the defenders when they're rotating back. Or they do a direct take and they execute it perfectly, you know, more often than not. And I think that's what you want. You know, BDS, of course, they lose rounds, but when they, you know, they win more rounds when they lose because they execute things perfectly. Even bad plans, they're executing them together. So yeah, I'm very impressed with BDS. It was another very sensible performance. It actually played out the same as when they last played Wolves, which was a 3-3 attack split leading into 4 defensive rounds in a row. Serious deja vu from them.
If you look at it, and like I build on your point of them doing everything flawlessly, it's just very like all the play pushes make sense. All of them are very basic pushes in my eyes. Like there is nothing that is outlandish, that is surprising you, or like in a way that you're like, oh, I've never seen that before. There's none really of that. But they don't need that because all the players are just that. They're that guy. They are that guy.
BDS, what? Good fundamentals,
Yep.
good teamwork,
Yep.
good aim,
Yep.
good strategy,
Yep.
good comms.
Yep.
They have everything that it takes to build a major winning team. And they do this with changing languages and roster in, 2.5 months?
Yeah. So the big importance here is one thing that I think a lot of teams don't have, even in pro play, mid-round calling. That has to be what their strength is. Like, I wonder what weaknesses they themselves perceive to have, because I have yet to spot them.
It's kind of weird as well, because teams a lot, and we talk about the attack, I think, as a barometer of where we judge teams.
Yeah.
We say a good attacking team is generally a better team because every team's expected to do well on defense. I think BDS actually keep it quite simple on their attacks because they've changed to English. They're not overcomplicating things. They're not trying to... You see teams overcomplicate things all the time, where they'll go for a direct take, but actually somebody wants to breach this wall, and actually somebody else wants to backstab, and suddenly your direct take is actually just 2 people and they get overwhelmed. BDS are just... It feels like they're very good at keeping the plan simple and executing it well. And that's honestly all you need a lot of the time.
It takes teamwork, but even more importantly, trust in your own skills and in your own teammates. And the fact that they've built this level of trust in such a little time, that takes a lot. And we know championship teams, I mean, they're forged in fires. A lot of them take much longer to get to this level. But we would like to highlight Shaiko here and bring him up for our chat. Thank you very much, Ace and Des. And yes, it is done. BDS are victorious. They are the #1 team in this stage. A change of form from last year that was basically taken by Virtus Pro twice. This time, BDS were able to bring it back in today against Into the Breach. Gotta say, a screamer of a match that we had. No expectations going into it. Honestly, I think EU is being reborn this stage.
I'd agree. I mean, we are not surprised about BDS winning this in the end. I think that after the first play day, we were already, okay, this team looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But you're right, Gaston. I think we're seeing something going absolutely incredible in Europe right now. We're seeing a rebirth of the region by basically like a phoenix. Like, we went inwards and now we're coming back out with flames. New teams that we never expected to be in the positions that they are. All of a sudden we have Secret and Into the Breach going to the major, and then BDS leading the charge with the performance they had this entire stage and the comeback they had today. Insane.
And BDS who made bold decisions.
Yeah.
It would have been very, very, very bloody easy for BDS to have gone to some Wolves players and said, yeah, do you want to come to us? Gone to some, what is the current Ends players and said, yeah, do you want to come to us? And done a French rebuild and still been a strong team.
Yeah.
Would have been super easy. That would have been the easy road. What's the hard road? Change yourself to English. Go to 2, you know, I wouldn't say English players, but, you know, because it was an English team.
English-speaking players.
Go to M&M, English-speaking players in Usus and Soltov, get them in, and actually go through a lot of the hard yards that you would need to do as a team.
Yeah.
You know, even Liquefac IGLing now in English, go through those hard yards because they know the potential is higher there. And I think it bold decisions, and it's favored them.
This is the rebirth we have been waiting for. EU, I mean, was it NA throughout the early stages of 2020, 2021 had a major shift. There's a lot of new players that came in and overhauled the North American scene. We get to see more and more of it through the end of 2023 and now in 2024. There's a reason why the Phoenix was the old logo for EUL, for those that remember those days, in the or at least a year and a bit ago was when we still had that logo. And now we get to see it in action in the server. Our champions, again, we celebrate them, and I hope all of you celebrate with us. Congratulations once more to BDS, our champions for the stage, from not making it to SI, just off of hitting that 8th place at Atlanta, and even the issues that they've had in 2023 to now at the top in the online phase. They look pretty much untouchable.
Yeah, pretty much untouchable. Like we said, 1 regular season loss, a little bit of a hangover, I think, from you know, being at Atlanta the weekend before, and whatever. It went wrong one day. It went wrong on one map. That's it. Everything else, they've looked untouchable.
It's just such an incredible team. It goes to show that they can have anybody from that team can step up. Today it was Bride. We're going to get back to that later. But we can look at every single player in that team and say, that game he won for them by individual performance. But that's not it. They have a team play and a coordination and just They're a complete team with everyone being a star in their own way.
All right, how about you talk to us about Bride? We got a graphic for it to help us out. Let's put it up. All yours.
Yeah, so this is Bride's stats for the last game, or the last map rather. And he had one outstanding game. And what we can see him in this, just overall this matchup, in the last map before this, he had 3 kills. And this goes to show the capabilities of the players in BDS. One map, they're silent, and Bride is more of a backline player, right, being the support one. All of a sudden, he's in the front line getting frags left, right, and center because that's what this team needed of him in those situations. It's just so much flexibility, and all of the players, they have insane amount of that.
There's a reason why Bride is seen as all reliable for the BDS roster and has been since he was brought on after Sixth Invitational 2020. For those that remember 4+ years ago, where we said Bride is worth his weight in gold as a transfer on the squad. Here is shining once more 4+ years later. But joining us on the interview is actually one of the golden geese on BDS who has pushed them to victory and pushed them not just here, but also to win the major a year and a half ago. Likefak joins us on the interview. Congratulations. How does it feel like to be number 1?
Hello guys, feeling really good. Like I said yesterday, we are here to be the first. So yeah, I feel really good.
Likefak, I'm going to bring it down just a little bit because we don't often get to interview teams who lose, and obviously you've won, but you lost on border. What happened there? Was that a little bit of a wake-up call for you guys? Because, you know, obviously EUL, apart from that, has been pretty good.
To be honest, I think yes. Also that the first map, warm-up map, I will say it. And also ITB play really aggro on the defense side, and we were surprised to see this face of ITB. But after we adapt on the second and third map, and all went good.
Good stuff, good stuff. So now obviously you've booked your place at the Manchester Major in Phase 2. You'll be Europeans' #1 seed. Are there any opponents at the Manchester Major already that are qualified that you're looking forward to playing against?
To be honest, not really. I would say FaZe because it's an incredible team also this stage, and Furia because they won everything, and we want also to beat them. But no, we are here to win all our match, even if like APAC team, NA team, we don't care.
Very good. I mean, we put you on that same level as FaZe and Furia just off of watching you through the online phase. So we're very excited to get to watch that performance in Manchester. I guess my question to you is, now that we know all the teams that are going through LCQs, we have one more spot to send to EU. Who do you think is going to walk out of that? Just to hear your thoughts as the #1 in the region.
I would say the G2 with a wake up on the LCQ, but I hope will be Wolf or Ents, my friends, French friends.
All right, definitely not biased in that answer. But speaking of it, I think it's time for us to end it here. Anything you would like to say, Likefak, to your fans and all the BDS fans, be it in English or in French? Go ahead.
Thank you guys to following us the whole stage. We are first now, finally the work spade, and we see you guys on the major. Merci à tous de nous avoir suivis pendant ce stage, ça nous a fait plaisir. On vous a montré qu'on était la meilleure équipe en Europe, et on va continuer de vous prouver ça en Europe, dans le monde, excusez-moi.
Very good, that was very well done. Fantastique. Congratulations. Fantastique. Bien joué, Likefak et toute l'équipe de BDS. On se verra peut-être à Manchester. Mais bon, Likefak, congratulations on the win for you and BDS. We hope to see you performing at your best at Manchester. Let's just say EU's hopes are definitely behind you. I can tell you that much. No pressure whatsoever. On that note, have a great night. We'll see you in Manchester.
You too, guys. See you.
And there it is. Always good to have a chat with Likefak. BDS victorious, the top of the region. But in total, we're sending 3 teams into Phase 2 in EU. And I cannot be more proud of these 3 squads, Fabian.
Yeah, these 3 squads have had a really good stage. And if we look at them from the different perspective, we start with BDS. After seeing them for a few play days, we totally expected them to be in the first place. So they really lived up to the expectations that I individually put on them, and I think that every single person who's been on this desk put on them. Then we come to Into the Breach and Team Secret. What a surprise that would have been. Have you told me that 2 months ago, that Into the Breach and Team Secret would be your two other in phase 2 teams?
Yeah.
I would have been like, nah, you are taking the piss.
Un poco loco.
Yeah, a little poco loco. But honestly, they have deserved it so much because the teams that they have built and the groups of people that they've put together and assembled in their teams, it just makes so much sense, and they're such good teams right now.